So 2024 was not that much better of a year for me than 2023. For one, YouTube kind of sucked more because I was kind of roped in what was going on during the summer because I had to had some personal issues. Also, my mom walked in when I was filming the Missing Coach episode when it actually had a deleted scene in it. So I think after that I kind of took a break from YouTube for the summer, which kind of was really bad because I needed to push out the two movies before the year ended, and also make the Mario and Friends arc. I mean, this year I'm working on scripts before the year actually begins, because so that way I don't have, like I said, I can make my videos quicker. Or I know what I'm doing, instead of just thinking about what comes to my head. I've already started on Toei and the Multiverse of Chaos Season 2, and Transformers. So, the reason I didn't upload a end of the year ranking was because I was gonna do it on New Year's Eve, but I couldn't because I was kind of too tired to really, and I wanted to watch The Prince of Egypt before it was coming off of Netflix. So yeah, now I will do my ranking video, 2024 ranking video, from worst to best. Now we have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9 movies to cover. 4 bad ones and 5 good ones. And before you ask, I have not seen the movies Kraven the Hunter, Madam Web, Venom the Last Dance, Joker Volley Dukes, The Wild Robot. Those movies I have not seen. I've only seen, in order of release, Megamind vs. the Doom Syndicate, Kung Fu Panda 4, or Godzilla x Kong, on Inside Out 2, Deadpool and Wolverine, Transformers 1, the Sandy Cheeks movie, and Sonic Free. So let's rank them all. Now, you're probably thinking, well, I mean, this was probably easy to make, because we all know what's at the bottom spot of the list. Well, yeah, it was, because, actually, I just realized something. This is the first video in a while where I showed my face. It's easily the Sandy Cheeks movie. Yeah, this is the worst. I say this because, it is just so bad. God. Have you not seen the animation? Compared to, SpongeBob and Ron, where it had a good-looking animation, this looks just so bad. It looks like it came from the Cosmic Saint game. My mom recently got it, and she's kind of really been raging on it recently. Also, I think Craig Robinson is in this movie. He plays Sandy's dad for some reason. God, are they gonna put Craig Robinson in SpongeBob? This movie is just so unfunny. It reminded me that Dan Schneider worked for Nickelodeon. And if you know, you know. And why I rate this movie under Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate is because of SpongeBob. First of all, he had no reason to be in this movie. He takes up more time of the movie than Sandy does. And Sandy is kind of mostly window dressing for this movie. Movie doesn't do anything. But SpongeBob is so annoying. All throughout the entire runtime of this movie, I was just going. Now I know how Squidward feels. That's my Patchy the Pirate impression. I'm meant to be doing a quote from SpongeBob BC. Now, and this movie doesn't really have anything really going for it, actually. Like, I can't actually remember anything I liked. I at least liked two things for Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate. Two things? I couldn't just enjoy anything about this movie. The animation's ugly. The jokes are painfully unfunny. I didn't really care for any of the characters, except for, like, Squidward. He was nice. Squidward's the best character. We all know that. And also I thought Randy was pretty good. Randy. He's good. Wait, I just realized something. I was just looking at, like, one of the posters for this movie, and it shows Camp Coral for some reason. Camp Coral had nothing to do with the movie. I like Yankee to tell that they almost as if someone fan made this poster. Also, I just want to point out that this movie got leaked on Twitter a little while. I didn't watch it. I wasn't one of the few people who watched it. Because one, I don't own a Twitter account. And two, for me, I would like to just, like, solemnly watch this movie, able enjoy it for myself and see what it was like. And yeah, when people actually saw the Twitter link, they said it was awful. I can't really enjoy this movie. Worst movie of the year. Now for number 8. And, like, you know what's number 8. Like, we all know what this movie is. Like you know. Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate. Wow, shocker. There are actually two things I did like about... Actually, now just think about it, 3 things I did like. For one, I like how this is like a versus movie. Kind of like how Megamind was a parody of Superman. I kind of like how this is like a parody of Batman v Superman. It kind of makes sense. While it was intentional or not intentional, it was still pretty funny. And I like how this movie wasn't just a soulless cash grab, because they wanted to, like, appeal to, like, some of the Megamind fans. Bring back the franchise. In a great way, like we wanted, no. And I'll give it the movie this. I like Behemoth. He was pretty cool. And also I like this, how Nighty Night had like had a thing with a teddy bear. That was funny. Anyways, this movie sucks. So let's go into that. First of all, the animation is awful. Like, like some people compare this to like Miraculous animation, and well, honestly, the show looked better. In fact, I like Miraculous. Yes, I'm a dude and I like a girls' cartoon. But I think I'll leave that discussion for... Well, I mean, I think that's not really, like a shocker. I did put them in the first Jeffrey and Junior's movie. First one, Jeffrey and Junior's movie, not like the SML movie. That doesn't really count. God, without me, SML movie may have been the worst video I ever made. And also I did say it in my last year ranking video. So anyways, let's go to like... The animation is really bad. And I like how Will Ferrell... Actually, none of the original cast returned at all. Like, at all. Like, they're not a terrible job, but like, just look at this voice.
Auto insurance all seems the same.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have to go through an ad. Also, I heard YouTube's, but...
Hello, loyal viewers. For those who are just joining us, that's me, Megamind, master of all villainy. Until I realized my destiny was to be a...
Yeah, I feel like how you can tell that Will Ferrell was an innocent, like... Yeah, like, by the trailer was... Everyone knew this was gonna be bad. But hey, I just kind of... I still kind of had some hope. I thought it may have been decent. Like a lot of movies I go to see, they turn out to be pretty good. Like example of... What I have is like... Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of Harley Quinn. Like, I expected it to be terrible, but it's... For my DCEU ranking. And no, it turned out to be pretty much of a mixed bag. Sure, I don't like how they... Cassandra Cain is just like a... Is not related to Batgirl anyways. But I haven't really read it. Actually, I think I should save this for like my DCEU ranking. And yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. Also, also, the characters are not good in this movie. What the fuck is going on? Like, this movie came out 2 days after the Earth movie. Well, I mean, yeah, I know it's kind of a bit hip. Like at least in Incredibles 2, they at least... There's at least some... space between the final battle. And yes, I know Incredibles 2 left off after the first movie. But at least it kind of made sense. It just take place 2 days. Like, it makes no sense. Like, there's also, like, stuff like streaming, despite it becoming... Megamind was released in 2010. Or Roxanne is suddenly tired of her news reporter job because we can't get sued by DCE for ripping off Lois Lane. Speaking of that, ever get the feeling that they just decided to make Roxanne the mayor because like they didn't want to get in trouble with DC? Just think about it. For a second. They both were reporters. They had like this reporter guy, like Jimmy Olsen. They were or related to a superhero. So yeah, they didn't want to like get sued by DC. Speaking of which speaking of characters not owning certain characters being replaced because of like IP issues, let's talk about Minion. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I mean Minion? I meant Chum. Yeah, I made his name Chum for some reason. You see, like in this movie, yeah, I think honestly, I would have liked to say this was because of the Minions, but then you actually kind of realize something. Like you see, when you look up who owns DreamWorks, it comes out as Universal, well, or NBC Universal, and then you look up who owns Illumination. And then you get, hold on. Yeah, it says here that NBC Universal owns another animation studio named Illumination. So I don't know why they did this. Maybe it was to get their marketability characters not mixed up. And Megamind is actually just annoying in this movie. Like, he is stupid. He doesn't even know how a toaster works. I swear, I feel like he actually, even he would have known what a toaster looks like. But you told me that, because he was... Also, there's some retcons in this movie, too. Like how they say that the whole Doom Syndicate doesn't really make sense because they know Megamind, despite Megamind in the timeline, it would make no sense. Like, I feel like what would have made more sense is, like, these guys were actually superheroes, and they were after Megamind because, as Metro Man was, they had thought that Metro Man was killed. That would have been much better. Maybe it would have been like the equivalent to, like, the Justice League in this universe. Or how about in, like that in the end credit scene, they show, like, Machiavellian, yes, that's his name, to, like, who says that he taught everything he knows. Like, wouldn't it make sense if he was, like, one of the prisoners? Or instead? Like, that would make more sense. But, as much as I hate it, it's still better than the Sandy Cheeks movie. Because it has Behemoth. Actually, let's talk about the Doom Syndicate before the section ends. The Storm Lady isn't really good. I mean, she's the only one who actually has an origin and explored, but it's kind of forgotten about, and she's kind of bland. This guy, 99, has, like, a joke about that his name is stupid, and that's it. And this French guy, I actually kind of forgot his name. I could actually remember the other three guys' names, but I kind of forgot he existed. I'm just gonna call him guy who doesn't bathe all the time. Anyways, actually, that's kind of racist. This is, I think, my French teacher wouldn't like that. I'll give him this. He's French. Since I take French class, I like that. But that's not really... But recently, that hasn't been a good thing, because recently my French class hasn't been good, because I keep getting work, and I keep getting... Anyways, we're not I'll talk about that. I think I'll go more into details on that if I make like a draw my life. This video is already 20 minutes long. Anyways, bad movie. We all know that. Now let's move on to number 7. Oh my, No Time to Spy, a Loud House movie. I'm gonna make this quick. This movie is kind of really forgettable. Like, I kind of feel like it does the Cars 2 route. I kind of like the Loud House because I like how it was just kind of simple and grounded. And didn't do anything to it. Fantastical. While in this movie, it's just kind of, while it later there's stuff like dragons or ghosts or spirits or spies. Also, speaking of the spy, whatever happened to like this Lincoln superhero stick? What were they? Was Nickelodeon alright too getting sued by the superhero industry, so they had to like get rid of that because. Wait, who was like the Loud House superhero guy? Was it Ace Savvy or House superhero guy? Oh yeah, Ace Savvy. What happened to him? Why are we suddenly make this a spy movie? When did Lincoln become interested in spies? Like, yeah, I know he was a spy before, but Ace Savvy too is a spy, but he's more superhero than spy. What, and like Kings of the Con? My guess is that like after Kings of the Kong, they like we're not allowed to like Ace Savvy at all and not watch any of his products, so Lincoln had to move on to like other stuff. Had to move on onto like what was it? Move on to like never spy hero. So yeah. Anyways, Lincoln is also just annoying in this movie. Like, he adds just so annoying. Well, I don't know what my biggest problem with this movie is, that there is a twist villain. Like, I actually had to look up I think her name was Ify or something. Like, yeah, she's the main villain in this movie. Like, she keeps appearing a lot in this movie, and yeah, with Lincoln, and throughout all of the entire movie, I was going like, yeah, this is the twist villain. And I was proven right. Yeah, this was so predictable. Yeah, there's not much else to say about this movie. It's really forgettable and predictable. Now let's move on to the last bad movie. Kung Fu Panda 4. God, you know, I feel... How can you mess up Kung Fu Panda? Like, the original movie trilogy was so good. But, you know, I'm starting to think this movie might actually be worse because as it has more faults. Like, just look at this. Like, this movie has completely sidelined the Furious 5 because as we couldn't afford the actors, so Awkwafina instead. And also, Poe is kind of an idiot in this movie. He's fat, so we need to make him an idiot. We could only afford like Tai Lung's voice actor. We couldn't actually get like Shen's voice actor, J.K. Simmons. Yeah, I couldn't. I didn't really know. who voiced Tai Lung or Shen. I kind of only know J.K. Simmons because I only watch J.K. Simmons products. Mostly watch his products more than these guys. But still, anyways, let's talk about the villain. The Chameleon is easily, like, one of the worst. Like, I guess her power is cool, but, like, she does absolutely has the worst motivation. At least the other three motivations make sense. Like, Tai Lung wanted to, like, have was getting the dragon scroll because he kind of felt betrayed. Shen wanted to, after killing all the pandas, Shen was cast out by his family, so he wanted everyone to bow down before him. Kai kind of wanted power, and yeah, I'll admit the motivation doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. It was still better than being short. Yes, that's her motivation. She was kicked out for being too short. I mean, I would say that Mantis and Viper actually would have been also Kung Fu Planet Fighters, but they don't really exist anymore. Like, Poe mentions that they were off doing their own things, and, like, since, like Mantis is a Mantis, and little did you know, that female Mantises killed their male, which doesn't really make sense. They're, like, the two animals mate, and then after, like, the female Mantis is, like, pregnant, does she bit her head off? Is that how it works? Fight me if I'm wrong. Yeah, I even wanted Seth Rogen in this movie. And I don't like Seth Rogen. Like, this is his only one good role. Yeah, and also Donkey Kong. Also, Poe is just kind of a dumbass throughout this entire movie. Like, he kind of, he just kind of doesn't expect things to happen. Like, the only instance I can really remember is, like, him meeting up with, like, Aquafina, and then, like, he doesn't think that it's a chameleon despite chameleon shapeshifting. So don't you think she could be like the chameleon in disguise? Don't you think that? Also, Shifu doesn't really get to do anything. He's just kind of mostly grumpy in this movie. How I kind of felt like Shifu also should have died in this movie. Like in the last 3 Kung Fu Panda movies, there was always a death in one of them. But here, there's no really deaths. Just kind of feels mostly like a baby movie. With also a bunch of unfunny jokes in it. So yeah, bad movie. Not good. Okay, hey. Now for some positives. The animation looks good. I thought it looked really nice. They at least gave some closure to Tai Lung. That was pretty nice. And I'll admit the Jack Black singing "Baby One More Time" was pretty fun. Was also slapped. Like, I listen to that song every night before I go to bed. That's how much I like it. Anyways, now let's go on to our 5 good movies. Now let's start with Inside Out 2. The highest grossing animated movie of the year and in general. So yeah, obviously this movie is good. Actually it's kind of more decent. Yeah, I kind of found this movie to be decent because I don't know, I kind of found like Sadness was kind of an idiot for like handing like Enui's phone to like like anxiety. But I feel like what this movie really does is like Riley. They actually make her a character and give her a good arc of like having to deal with like friends and ditching them, because of like and not being chosen, and like doing more bad decisions. And let's talk about the new emotions we get. Envy and Yui are fine, but not really great. I think embarrassment has a nice character arc, and anxiety is where this movie really peaks. Peaks. She had also, I mean, he has like a good antagonistic role of trying to do the right for what's right for like Riley, except for like that. Now she actually does more wrong for her. But another problem I kind of have with this movie is that it's kind of a bit too similar to like the first movie. Like the emotions get lost. Lost and kicked out of headquarters, and now I have to get back again. But there are some differences in this movie. For one, when Sadness actually gets to like be relative to the plot, and like, well, actually she was relative. Sadness gets to like said to like stop anxiety and from taking over Riley. And it's good because we get to explore like fear, disgust, and anger. The one who benefits the most from this is easily Anger. I don't know why. He's easily the funniest guy. He's essentially like the Mr. Krabs of like Inside Out. He has some also good jokes. He also says "Please kill me" in it. Like I went to see this movie with my school, before 7th grade ended, and yeah, we all agreed that was pretty funny. Also, this movie was also really funny in general. It gave me a lot of laughs. But still, I kind of think it's just decent. Not the best movie, but it's decent. Now we actually get to some of the peak movies. Next up, we have Deadpool and Wolverine. Yeah, I've never really been a fan of the Fox movies. Marvel movies, because one, they kind of mostly focus way too much on Wolverine. I'm actually like making like a Fox X-Men, Fox Marvel movie in general ranking video. So if you want that, you have to get me to like 100 subscribers by the year before the year ends, or else I'm not doing it, or postponing it to like 2026. So anyways, this movie, I also really like how Deadpool is more of a hero in this movie. Like he's actually trying to save his world, not just like do things that only relate to him. He's actually a genuine hero. And I also like how Wolverine has to like deal with like the depths of his universe's X-Men. I also like how this movie doesn't resurrect the main Wolverine from the first timeline. Instead of like having like doing like what most series do, like resurrect a character. resurrect a character that should have stayed dead. Ed, Ed, and gets resurrected too quickly. But no, they don't do that here. Or they let him stay dead for the best. And also, I just want to say that, like, the cameos we got were obviously good. I didn't really care much for Elektra or Blade. Well, actually, I did Elektra, but she was fine. She had some pretty cool action bits. Blade was good, except for when they said the R word. I don't really like when they say R words in movies. But I also like his joke of there's only been one Blade, and there's only ever gonna be one Blade. Well, yeah, and seeing as how like the Blade movie has actually been like postponed, delayed, and like really just had some terrible production issues. Yeah, I think this is really gonna be the only Blade we're gonna get. Gambit is also peak. Gambit's my favorite X-Men. Is obviously my favorite X-Men by now, if you know. He peaked here. And I also like how they brought back like what was her name again? X-24, X-23 back and like give some closure to her. Also, Johnny Storm's cameo was also fun. Funny. It's kind of, I thought we were getting like Captain America back for a second, and until like it turned out to be his other Marvel role. That was absolutely funny. So yeah, and I feel like we can all agree that this is probably the best comic book movie of the year. Because yeah, and the only one I saw, because no way in God's green earth am I watching Madam Web or Kraven the Hunter or Joker Volley at Dukes. You can't make me. Never in my life will I ever watch it. In fact, I won't watch any of the Sonyverse movies that aren't Venom. Because God, I know, so they're all bad. Well, I mean, it's not really Sonyverse. It was recently confirmed that it wasn't a cinematic universe. But anyways, that's it for Deadpool movie. Now for number 3 is an actual free, the final one I saw, Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Yeah, this is easily the best Sonic movie. Let's talk about this movie's best part. Shadow. He obviously peaked. He has that great motivation to be evil. Full like I never really cared much for the Sonic games. I actually didn't play them until most recently. But I do know, but Shadow is like obviously the best villain. I always consider that he was Sonic's main villain. Keanu Reeves does a good job playing Shadow, and he also works really good in the emotional bits. I mean, this movie mostly focuses on Robotnik and his grandfather more. But honestly, they were really funny. I also like how Robotnik has a character arc of deciding that he doesn't need to rule Earth, but rather save it, and appreciate Agent Stone. That was real nice. It is actually the only movies that really Jim Carrey does anymore. Like, yeah. I mean, there has been some talks of him returning for Sonic 4, but I doubt so. Like, what, you expect me to believe? If he'll come back as, like, from a radioactive blast. anyways, this movie, I also like. Well, I mean, but then again, we don't really know what happened to like Grandpa Robotnik. I mean, he may have survived, but he went into like space, so I don't know too much about that. Sonic also has a nice character arc of like having to deal of Tom's getting injured and like getting consumed by his anger. And pushing away his friends. So yeah, it was obviously a great movie. Also, I don't know what the hell Super Mario Logan's talking about. Like what you're complaining about that Eggman shoot Jim Carrey's too tired duties. And I'm like, dude, he's literally wants to do the fourth movie. It's the only movie he does. What are you talking about? Also, I might be returning to SML content soon. So, maybe. Now, number 2. It's probably a movie. Since I talk a lot about this movie series, you probably think it was gonna be number 1. But at number 2, we have Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire. Yeah, I would have put this movie on number 1, but I don't really think I can because I feel like there's something to drag that down. Like, the human characters don't really have much to this movie aside from, I mean, they did give like a nice fine have a character arc, which was for the 2 female characters, which was fine. And I kind of like the hippie guy. This is also just a me thing. But have you ever noticed that, like, in the MonsterVerse, they kind of ditched some of his actors? Like, for example, and only bring a couple returning ones. Like, think about it. Like, in the 2014 Godzilla movie, Serizawa and his, like, partner return to the movie only to die and get forgotten about. And in King of the Monsters, there's like the guy the daughter and like father characters return, but then they don't return for this movie. And then it said Brian Tyree Henry and the 2 girl characters was return. It said, ever notice that they kind of ditched those? Also, this is another thing, but how come they kind of decide to ditch Mothra's egg? Like in King of the Monsters, we see like a giant egg with the 2 sisters by it. Wasn't that supposed to be like setting up Mothra's return? Why now is it like a person from Skull Island who could just suddenly resurrect Mothra? Or maybe they are setting up Batra, right? And again, like, I feel like much like the MonsterVerse has been doing recently, they kind of keep sidelining Godzilla. I feel like the only movie that really shows Godzilla as his full potential is only King of the Monsters. But I still can't. But still, this movie is great. I know a lot of people have been complaining about Godzilla's design, but I kind of really like it. Kong has a nice character arc of having to reunite with his like species, only to find them be evil. Zuko has a character arc of like having to like find a new father instead of his own abusive father. By the way, let's talk about Scar King. You know, for when the movie was coming out, I wasn't really interested in Scar King much. For me, it was kind of more, I was more interested in Shimu, like mostly. But when he came, and to be honest, he kind of looked a bit ugly in the trailers. And yeah, the CGI is another problem with this movie. But still, he's a great villain. He's like maybe the most evil. He actually feels like a dictator in this movie who rules over his subjects. Like, he even just kills his own species. Is for this movie. He kind of feels like an actual king in this movie. How an actual king would act. And he made me... I was even... wanted to put him on, like, number 1 on this list. If I was making, like, a best 2024 villains, he would probably may have been number 1. I also want to... talk about Shimu. While she wasn't really kind of underutilized, she has a nice story of like being abused by Scar King. She doesn't feel like a villain. You almost feel bad for her. It is... So yeah, I was really and also the action in this movie also really peaked. It may be some of the best fights in like the entire MonsterVerse. Is it the best MonsterVerse movie? Well, I want to talk about something. Is it the best MonsterVerse movie? No. King of the Monsters had more Godzilla-ish stuff in it. It had better stories with in it, and overall just kind of peaked for me. But still, this is a close second place. It's a shame that people don't really talk about this movie. Also, I like how funny this movie is. It's really funny. Like when Kong Show hits a guy in the face, or like Scar King laughing, that made me laugh. Now we get onto number 1, which I think you all know which it is. Yeah, I had to change location because my mom was getting tired. Transformers 1. Something you may not have known about me is that I am a massive Transformers fan. I grew up with like Robots in Disguise and Rescue Bots, and the 2000 Transformers movie, and learned to appreciate. And then I kind of tuned out of the series and kind of watched Prime for a bit. And I recently got back into Transformers. Yeah, it's really... This movie is... It may be my favorite thing to come out of the Transformers franchise. It has my favorite designs of all the characters, the best interpretations of them, and the best... Oh yeah, Mr. Beast is also on. I have Roku on. And this may have my favorite interpretation of Megatron. He has this understandable motivation and goes mad about wanting to kill Sentinel, well, due to how he betrayed him. I like how there's a clear theme of deception in this movie, of like having to like trust and friendship. Also, I like how Elita 1 originally gets mad at Optimus Prime, but learns to appreciate him. It actually made me care for one of the female Transformer characters for a change. Actually, I think that might be sexist. That's what I just said. Optimus also has I think Chris Hemsworth is perfect casting as Optimus. He starts off as a normal Chris Hemsworth, but then begins to sound more like Optimus. He's no Peter Cullen, but still pretty good. Now what about Keegan-Michael Key as Bumblebee? Well, I mean, he's a bit more funnier than like some of the other past iterations, but I still find it was good. Wow, this video is long. Just realized that. The animation looks really good in this movie, and also, and the soundtrack too. Like when Optimus Fall played falling into the Cybertron, it was probably my favorite scene in the movie. It's not the only Transformers origin we've gotten of Optimus and Megatron. We've seen her origin G1 and Prime, but still, this may be my favorite Transformers product, and my favorite movie of 2024. One more last thing, Sentinel Prime. He's also a really good villain. He's honestly, unlike in, I know some people have said that like he's better than Bayverse, but honestly, I kind of enjoyed Bayverse Sentinel because he kind of had more of a better motivation, while it's like in Transformers 1, he just kind of wanted power and greed, but it's nice seeing like two different sides to them. Whoa, that was a long video. Yeah, maybe I'll do more longer videos now when ranking things. So yeah, that's what I thought of 2024. That's it for right now. Don't worry, the Godzilla will return.